And then come to, as we did before, from side to side. I notice that it's on my phone that I'm decapitated. Don't know if that makes any difference. Oh, slightly, just side to side. Balancing the weight from foot to foot. You can go higher to come into something called Yantra Yoga, which is Tibetan medicine. And really so beneficial to do this. And then just gently start to slow down. And then come to a standstill. So this next one is odd, but not that odd. So just brush down your arms, brush down your body, brush down behind you. It's like a dry skin brushing, clearing your energy fields. But also, it's quite beneficial to do this, to get your circulation boosting. Now, brushing is normal, but you can also tap if you prefer. And then just shake your hands. And this very familiar one of clearing the energy, particularly on your right side, which is frustration and pent up on liver and gallbladders. So you'll join me bringing hands up, back, cross, up, back, cross the other way. Don't worry if you get it wrong. Up, back, cross, up, back, cross. It is totally releasing. And works in more ways than is superficially obvious. And then make the next couple the last. And just swing your hands. And then come to your feet hip width apart. So this is very much Tai Chi. Make an imaginary beach ball. It doesn't matter which hand leads. Feet are hip width apart. Turn to go to one side. And then your hands turn and bring your beach ball back to the other side. Your hands turn again. This very gentle side-to-side movement slows everything down. It becomes many things, one of which is a mindfulness type exercise, but it's also quite good for balancing left and right sides of the body and the brain. And then come to the center and just release and circle your hands. And then continuing that energy, raise your hands up, clasp, reverse your palms, and slightly side to side. Slightly turn to one side. Come to the center and turn to the other side. You can turn to a static turn, or you can just bounce in and out slightly and come back to the center. Just raise your heels and lower your heels. Lower your hands to parallel in front of you. This is a shoulder exercise. Breathing in, open your hands out, just feel it under there. Bring your hands back, clasp, and reverse up, stretching up. Breathing out, lower your hands to parallel. Bend your elbows as you open out. Bring your hands back to the center, clasp, and reverse. And we'll do this a couple more times. This is a perfect shoulder movement exercise that you'll find in one of the classic texts for Vinyasa yoga. But it does get quite, you do feel it on your shoulders. And make this the last one. And then just lower your hands down. And just turn from side to side. And release. Lift and roll one shoulder. And lift and roll the other shoulder. Roll that first shoulder forward. And roll the next shoulder forward. And then lift and roll both shoulders back. Clasp your hands behind you. Aim your knuckles to the ground and just open up your shoulders. Just keep that shoulder open. You can increase the effect by lifting the arms slightly away from you. And you'll just feel that a little bit more. And then just release your arms and just open and stretch your hands. For those of you who've been working with your fingers, raise your right arm and just circle your wrists. You'll find that the wrists naturally go one way. Then reverse your circle. It's a coordination movement. And release. And then raise the other arm and circle. And circle the other way. And release. This time, this is also a shoulder and a neck and an eye exercise. Raise one arm. I'm going to raise my right arm. Extend your right thumb and just circle your arm forwards a couple of times. You're following the circle with your thumb, with your eyes. So just circle forward. Your other hand can rest on your waist or on your thigh. So as you lift your eyes, it becomes a mindfulness exercise as you disconnect the eyes from the stress centers of the brain. And then when you're ready, reverse your circle so that you're going backwards. So as I said, this is a shoulder exercise, which I don't think I included in my list that I sent through to Joss. But it becomes also a neck exercise and an eye exercise. And then, of course, we're going to just release that arm, lifting and rolling the shoulder, and come to the other side where you make a fist, extend your thumb, if I didn't say that, sorry, and just circle forwards. Just notice where your eyes tend to skip, where they'll skip at the extremities. So you follow it. For me, as I come down and then I go behind me, my eyes jump. I don't make my circle properly. So it's just noticing where your gap is. And then when you're ready, reverse your circle the other way. And then just very gently come to the center. Lift and roll your shoulder. Just sway once more from side to side. And then come to the center again. Feet hip width apart. Breathing in, circle your hands up, palms touch. Breathing out, circle your hands down. And again, breathing in, circle your hands up. And breathing out, circle your hands down. Turn a quarter turn to your right, and the same thing. Circle your hands up. Circle your hands down. Start to breathe in and then raise your arms. Finish the movement and then finish the breath. Come to face the back, same thing. Circling the arms up. Breathing out, circling the arms down. Breathing in, circling the arms up. And breathing out, circle the arms down. Take another quarter turn to your right. And the same thing, circling your arms up. Breathing out, circling your arms down. Breathing in, circling your arms up. And breathing out, circling your arms down. Come back to the beginning. And this time, just bring your hands to your heart. Breathing in, open your arms out. Breathing out, bring your arms back. Breathing in, opening your arms out. And breathing out, bring your arms back. And release. Come to turn to the side, or wherever, step with your left foot out towards the edge of your mat. Depending on your balance, you might like your left foot slightly further than hip width apart. Your back foot turns about 45 degrees. And just start by placing your hands on your waist just to set your pose. You can always lift your back heel. I tend not to, but that is an option. Breathing in, raise your hands up, looking either ahead or up, depending on your neck capacity. And breathing out, soften your front knee. Bend over your front left knee, tummy in, perineum engages slightly, lengthen your back, and then touch your hands either to the floor or to your shins. Breathing in, press both feet down to support your weight as you come back up again, raising your hands. Breathing out, tummy in, as we do the same thing, coming forward. Lengthen your spine and then come forward, curling down. Press your feet into the ground, tummy engages as you roll up. You can use your hands against your thigh to support you. Raising your hands up, stretching your thumbs towards you and your little fingers away. And then one more time, softening as you come forward. Press your feet down, roll up vertebra by vertebra to standing. Raise your hands, lower your hands, and step your left foot back towards your right foot. Lift and roll both shoulders. And then you're going to do the same on the right side. So stepping the right foot forward, take time to find your balance, which might mean bringing the right foot out towards the edge of the mat. Your back left foot in about 45 degrees. Just place your hands on your waist to set your pose, to make sure that you're firm. And then breathing in, raise your hands up as we did before, softening your front right knee as you come forward, tummy in, Bringing your hands either to the ground, or you can bring your hands to your shins, depending on your capacity, or one hand on your shin, one on the floor. Pressing your feet down, support you as you roll back up again, raising the hands up, either looking ahead or up. Breathing out, soften your front right knee and your elbows as you come forward. If you're very strong in your core, you might not need to soften your knee, you can come straight forward, but most people like to soften their knee. Breathing out, soften your knee, tummy in. Press your feet into the ground as you come up, raising your hands, lowering your hands, and stepping your right foot back. Lift and roll your shoulders. And then we're going to come to lying on the floor. So in some traditions of yoga, or most traditions of yoga, you have a slight rest period to absorb the movement that you've just done. So we're going to come to lying, but while we're here, of course, we'll be making some movements with our ankles. So come to, you can have your knees bent, but equally you might like to come to lying on the ground. And from there you can more effectively do your ankle exercises. Just be aware that the purpose of this is to just relax and rest from the movement we've made. Palms down lightly on the floor, feet are comfortably apart, and begin by circling your ankles, both of them in one direction. And then circle your ankles in the other direction. And then stretch your feet, extend your toes and relax. Just invert, so your big toes, your toes point to the left, and then they come through the centre and both toes and feet point to the right. So you're windscreen wipering your feet from side to side, and you'll feel this at the ankle as you're just opening and stretching the ankle in a slightly different way. If you can think of tree, lying tree, now slide your right foot up, aiming the sole of the right foot towards the inside of your left thigh, and your right knee will open out to the side. Slide your right foot back, and then slide your left leg in, opening the left knee out to the side, and the left sole of the foot will aim towards the inner right thigh. And then release and slide back. Just do that again on the right side. Slide the right foot in, right knee opens out to the side. And breathing out, slide your foot back down again. And then slide your left foot up, opening out the left knee to the left, and release. Keeping your left leg where it is, bend your right knee, right foot goes on the ground. Just move your right foot out towards the edge of the mat and let your right knee drop to the centre. Your right hip will lift up off the ground. And just open your sole of your right foot up to the right slightly. You might like to, you're coming onto your big toe as you open your foot up and your hip is really lifting. So that's an evert movement at the hip level and the foot level. Roll back to the centre and slide your right foot out again, bringing it in. And then again, bend your left knee, left foot on the ground. Move your left foot out towards the edge of the left mat, and then bend your left knee in towards the centre. Your left hip will roll off the ground, and just your big toe will go on the ground, and just open your side along your little toe side of your left foot out to the side, Your left knee will really go into the centre as you roll onto the right hip and lifting your left. And then breathing out, roll back again onto your back. And just extend your left foot along the ground. And from there, bend both knees. Feet are hip width apart. You can move your feet slightly wider than hip width apart. And now open your hands to shoulder height so that it looks like a T. Both palms are down. If you find that too much for under your arms, and some people do, then you can make the T and A by lowering your hands slightly. Let both knees drift over to the right. Open your left palm upwards, using the support of the ground to support your left shoulder. And then you can turn your head to the left to look at the upturned palm, either looking along your left hand and arm, or looking up to the left, your choice. And just take a couple of breaths here. Your left hip will lift off the ground. This is part of something called the somatic movement that I've been talking about a little bit. Very much tunes into the Feldenkrais, the Alexander technique and Rolfing, where it's exploring aging of the body and where we can particularly age where our muscles contract slightly. Bring your tummy in and your perineum engages 10% of your capacity to support your knees as they come back upright again. Turn your left palm down. Then let both knees drift over to the left. Your right hip lifts. Open up your right palm. You'll feel this opening in your shoulder, and turn your head either to look upwards, the eyes open or closed, or you can turn it further to look along your right arm and your right upturned palm. So this exercise can be static, as we've done. Bring both knees back to the centre, turn your palms down. Just now explore letting just the knees drift from side to side, rolling over the top of your bottom. And then if you want to, you can bring your head to join in, so your head goes to the opposite direction of your knees. And then if you want to involve your arms, your knees drop to one direction and the palm of that direction of the hand stays down. Your head goes to the other side, away from your knees, and your palm in the direction of where you're looking turns upwards. And then you just alter it. But it is, you can get it wrong, but just the swaying from side to side is very releasing, but also anti-aging. From the point of view that you're opening your shoulders and your hips, and they're the two areas of our body where the limbs join onto the torso, where age muscles can constrict slightly, can contract, and that pulls us forward into that aged forward bend. And this goes quite a long way to opening that and freeing that off. And then come back to the centre, bring your knees in, hug one knee into the chest and then the other knee into the chest. And just rock from side to side. So this is on your lower back. Hug your knees into your chest, still holding them, let them move away at arm's length. Hug your knees into your chest, let them drift away. And hug your knees into your chest. And then again, let them drift away. Hug your knees into your chest. Bring the soles of the feet up to the ceiling. Open your legs in a slight V. And your hands go up and behind you, stretching behind you, chin goes down. Breathing out, hugging the knees back into the chest. And then breathing in, soles of the feet to the ceiling again, arms up and behind you, stretching, extend your heels, and breathing out, hugging your knees into your chest. Slide your hands down your shins, so as you come into a supine Baddha Konasana, so the big toes are vaguely aiming together and your inner groins are opening. You can stay here in a static movement, or you can just slightly rock from side to side. And then you can drop your hands to the soles of your feet and come into Happy Baby. If Happy Baby is too much for you, you can always do half Happy Baby, in which case you drop one foot down to the ground and just hold on to one foot. But if you can manage a double Happy Baby, a complete Happy Baby, then please do, and just gently rock from side to side. If you want to fine-tune this movement, you would engage your tummy, your lower abdomen, engage your perineum, and just subtly aim your tailbone 1 millimetre towards the ground away from you. And that engages your core more. You can still rock from side to side. You don't have to do that. It's more releasing to not do it, but this is more yogic to engage your core. And then for those of you who want to go a step further, you can stay Happy Baby, or you can hold your big toes, second and third finger under the big toe, thumb on top, and just open out. You can hold your shins as well, and just rock from side to side in your inner goddess pose. Again, engaging your lower abdomen in. As you're holding your big toe or you're holding your shins, and extending your heels, you'll feel a stretch on the inside of your legs. And that really is an area where women in particular seem to can let those muscles go. That muscle is very much associated with the element of fear. So you're just stretching that. And then hug both knees into the chest, rock from side to side. And then we're going to, in our own time, however it works for you, roll over and come to lying in a Sphinx pose. So lying in your tummy, on your elbows. The angle of your lower back is quite soft. The more you bring your elbows out in front of you, the lower the angle on your lower back. So there will be a point that's comfortable for you. Looking down at the floor, just rock your bottom from side to side. So this becomes a sacroiliac releaser, a jelly wobble of your bottom. For anyone with sciatica, tuck the toes of your right foot underneath your right heel is up to the ceiling. Lift your whole right leg and extend the right heel back, and you'll find that this releases you at the front of the hip as well as the back of the leg. And then just release the right leg down. Let the right heel drop out to the right, and then wobble your bottom from side to side. And then tuck your left toes underneath, stretching out underneath your left toes. Lift the entire left leg, extend your left heel back, and then just rock from side to side. And then just release your foot, let it all drop out and rock again from side to side. So now, just widen your elbows so that your hands stack on top of one another. You can make the back of your hands on top of each other or make a fist. You might like to bring your feet, knees, just alternately direct where your knees are, in or out. I would probably say bring your knees out slightly, bend your at the knees, and just again windscreen wiper as you rock from side to side. Very opening for the hips. If you would like to, you can take your left hand to your left ankle and just stretch your left heel back towards your bottom and feel this stretch on your thigh, so part of your lying dancer's pose. And then just bring your hands back, rock from side to side, and then bring your right hand to your right ankle and bring your right heel towards your right bottom. If you're particularly into the bow, you can hold both ankles, you don't have to, and just lift up into Dhanurasana with the bow, and then just release back down again. Just hands underneath as you rock your feet from side to side. And then release your legs to the ground. Slide your hands out and come now to kneeling on all fours. Just rocking your bottom from side to side. Cat-cow, dipping your back, looking either up or along the mat. Breathing out, rounding, your chin comes to your chest. Breathing in, dipping your back. And breathing out, rounding, chin to chest. Come to neutral. Turn the right palm up. Take your right hand and turn the right palm upwards and slide your right palm through underneath your left hand so that you're coming onto your right shoulder. Your bottom is up in the air. You can move your bottom slightly to the right and your left hand stays on the ground or even extends above you. So it's thread the needle, put on your shoulder. And just stay here for a couple of breaths. But again, this is a brilliant shoulder movement and opening up. You'll feel this on your right side. And then very gently come back to being on your hands and knees. Just once more do a couple of cat-cows. Breathing in, dipping your back, and breathing out, rounding chin to chest. And this time turn your left palm upwards to face you. And then slide your left hand palm upwards through underneath your right arm. Come to lean on your left shoulder. Right hand stays on the mat and the right hand can even crawl up towards the top of the mat. And you're coming to thread the needle on your left shoulder, looking through to the right. Your left hip might go slightly to the left, that's fine. And then very gently come back. Once more, cat and cow. Slide your right leg back, tuck your right toes underneath you. Bring your right feet, your right foot over your left foot, and turn to look over your left shoulder at your right foot. So it's a stretch along the right side. And then very gently come back to kneeling. Slide your left foot back, tuck your left toes under. Move your left toes over your right foot. And then turn to look over your right shoulder at your left foot. Unravel and come back to tabletop. Dipping your back in cat, unrounding in cow. Dip your back in cat, round in cow. Tuck your toes and come into a very soft downward dog. Bottom high, weight away from the wrists and then straighten your legs. Walk the dog a couple of times, swaying your hips from side to side, bending one knee and then the other knee. And then very gently bring both knees back down to the ground. Untuck your toes, bring your bottom towards your heels towards your bottom as you stretch out. Slide your hands towards you as you start to kneel up, raising your hands above your head, stretching your fingers. Breathing out, lower your hands. Bring your right hand onto your waist, your left hand onto your tummy, and turn towards the right. Take an in and an out breath here. Come back to the center, raise your arms, stretch your fingers. Breathe out, lower your arms, and bring your right hand to your tummy, your left hand to your waist, and turn towards the left, looking over your left shoulder. Come back to the center, raise both arms up again, and then breathing out, soften your elbows and come back to tabletop. Dipping your back, cat, rounding your back, cow. Tuck your toes as you come into a soft downward dog. Walking the dog, one foot and the other. Feel that you can adjust your feet. They can be hip width apart. They can be bent at the knees. In fact, bend one knee and the other as you walk the dog anyway, and you can sway your hips. Bend both knees to the ground. Bring your bottom towards your heels. You can untuck your toes, stretching out in child's. Extended child's pose. Sliding your hands towards your knees as you kneel up. Raising your arms up, looking either up or straight ahead. Breathing out, bring your hands back down to tabletop. And we'll do that one more time as we dip the back, looking up, round the back, chin to chest, tap your toes, coming into a very soft dog. Extend your spine, bottom high, and then extend your legs. Walk the dog a couple of times. Feel free to adjust your feet. Maybe swaying your hips from side to side. Bend both knees to the ground. Uncurl your feet, perhaps you don't have to. Bring your bottom towards your heels, stretching your hands forward. Slide your hands to your knees as you kneel up, stretching your arms above your head, and breathing out, lower your hands, and come to a seated position. Cross-legged, if that's uncomfortable, then come to have your feet straight in front of you. Have your hands comfortably on your knees. I've got mine upturned in Dhyana Mudra, so finger and thumb together, but whatever suits you, you can have your hands in your lap, on your knees, whatever. Hands down, hands up. As you breathe in, turn your head to the left. As you breathe out, turn your head to the right. In to the left and out to the right. And just a few times, breathing in to the left, breathing out, head to the right. Just carry on in your own time, in to the left, breathing out to the right. It becomes a breath-work exercise, a mindfulness exercise as you find it as your brain can't retain things quite so much when it's going from side to side. So you release thought patterns. And you're also balancing your neck, your hemispheres, left and right and left of the brain. You're working on your thyroid and parathyroid at the neck level. Your neck muscles inevitably lead into the shoulder, so it's giving flexibility at the top of the spine. It's calming for the nervous system. And then very gently come back to the center. Just notice the effects of the movement that we've made. And while you're here, you can have a thought for the day that you can wish for yourself or someone close to you. And mentally think that thought again a couple of times to set it in your attention. And then bringing your hands to your heart, slightly lowering your chin to your chest. Breathing in, opening your hands out to the side. Breathing out, hands back to the heart, lower chin slightly to the chest. Breathing in, opening your hands to the side. Breathing out, lowering chin to chest and hands go back to the heart. And just do that a few more times. Again, this is an extension of a mindfulness exercise. It's a meditation, a moving meditation. Breathing in, out. Breathing. The chin to the chest stretches and extends the back of the neck, which again is deeply calming for the nervous system. It activates the vagus nerve, so it's great for anti-inflammatory response. And then make this next hands to your heart, chin down to chest, the last one, as you take a bow for yourself. Have a very lovely day ahead, and thank you very much for joining me.